What's going on, people? Joey Talks Boxing. I want to talk about an underrated heavyweight, a guy who doesn't really get a lot of credit, and that would be Alexander Povetkin. I think he's very underrated. Maybe because he was from Europe, he didn't have the big personality. He's not a mega puncher, but he was a good fighter. He won the Olympic gold medal. He had a good, boxing ability, could punch, could box. He was only 6'2", didn't have long arms, but he was a really good heavyweight. Skilled, could back guys up, go to the body, well schooled. And this was a guy who was in the top 10 in Ring Magazine's heavyweight rankings from 2007 to 2021 for 15 years straight, every single year. That's impressive. That's serious longevity. He even got himself to being the number 2 heavyweight in the world versus Vladimir Klitschko, and then he lost that fight. But Klitschko's an all-time great, so being number 2 to him is not like the worst thing in the world. His only 2 losses for a while were to Klitschko and to Joshua. And he lost to Dillian Whyte at the end of his career, but he was, coming off the respirator in the, in the ICU from COVID. He was shot. He was in no position to fight. But you look at his career, and started from 2007, he was fighting guys like Larry Donald, the former contender, Chris Bird, who was the former heavyweight champion, knocked him out. Eddie Chambers was a good contender. He beat him. I mean, he was just consistently beating, good people. Now, he had the chance to fight Klitschko, I think, as early as 2010 or 11, and he turned it down for a while. Teddy Atlas said he wasn't ready for it, his trainer at the time. But the guy beat a lot of good fighters. I mean, he beat Ruslan Chagayev, Marco Huck, former champion Hasim Rahman. He was kind of past it at the time. Carlos Takam, Manuel Char, Maurice Wack. I mean, he beat a lot of guys. Even Hammer and Price were, decent at the time. They were decently rated. Huey Fury was not he was in the mix. He did lose to Joshua, but he drew with Michael Hunter, who was a pretty good contender at the time. And then he goes out of nowhere and knocks out Dillian Whyte at the end of his career. Upsets him, which I had predicted correctly. And then, like I said, the last fight with Dillian Whyte, he was shot. He was coming off of the freaking respirator after having COVID. He was in no position to fight. So when you look at his career, he was top 10 for 15 years. He beat Dillian Whyte, Marco Huck, Mauricio Wack, Ruslan Chagayev, who I think was also a very underrated heavyweight, a good Chris Bird, Eddie Chambers. He has a lot of just solid wins. Takam was there, like I said. I mean, I'm looking through it. He beat a lot of good people at the time. And if you look at that Klitschko era, he's the 3rd best heavyweight from that time behind Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko. So I think his career resume is better than Deontay Wilder's, honestly. It is. And he has longevity, 15 years being on top, 10. That's impressive. Not many heavyweights have that. And he was ranked, pretty highly. Let me see what they rated him as. This was a very good heavyweight, for a long time. So I give him his credit. He did fail some, steroid tests, so I understand that. But, so did Tyson Fury, so did Luis Ortiz. Other guys have failed too, but that is true. He did fail, and that's something you could hold against him. But this guy was ranked pretty highly. He was rated in the top 10 in BoxRec from 2006 to 2020. He was in the top 5 in 2007 to 2020, almost every year with the exception of 2019. That's impressive, that's BoxRec, their ratings. But, he was rated pretty high. He was pretty freaking good. I'm trying to get the exact rankings. I don't know exactly, but, the guy was a pretty good heavyweight, for a very good heavyweight for a long time. Had a real solid career. Not saying Hall of Fame career, but he's definitely one of the best heavyweights to never hold the heavyweight title. Let's put it like that. So I think Povetkin's underrated. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.